Blessings community, my name is Apolonia Davalos and I'm president of the Sioux Cinema Club. This past August, CBS This Morning launched an ongoing series entitled School Matters, highlighting student perspectives regarding the safe reopening of schools in the midst of a pandemic. Incoming freshmen from across the country are sharing their stories about what it's like commencing college during this time. The Sioux Cinema Club is contributing to the hashtag School Matters movement by sharing 5 interviews from USF's class of 2024. Check it out.
Hi USF, I'm Naveah Schreiber and I'm from Worthington, Minnesota. I'm a freshman here at University of Sioux Falls and I'm majoring in elementary education with a minor in Spanish.
Hey USF, I'm Steffen. I'm a freshman here at USF. My majors are Media Studies and Entrepreneurial Studies, and I'm from Sioux Falls.
Hi, my name is Kyla Clark. I am a freshman at the University of Sioux Falls, and my major is psychology.
Hi, I'm Raelee Voss. I'm a freshman here at USF, and I'm a double major in Media Studies and Communication Studies with theater.
My name is Tyson Lott. I'm an undecided major, and I'm just chilling here.
I felt very confused when I was not returning to school after the spring break. I wasn't even in school when they told us that we couldn't come back for the next week. I was actually at a conference in Missouri, and I got an email saying don't come to school when you come back because nobody else is coming to school. So it was really strange just to hear that when I'm in a completely different state.
What did I feel when I was notified that I wasn't going to return? I was actually pretty happy about it just because school isn't my favorite thing, but at the same time I didn't really realize what that meant at that point.
You could tell what was going to happen. All of the teachers had really prepared for the worst. And it just so happened on our last day of school was the start of our next quarter. So we had one day with those new teachers in person, and then everything went online.
Just after we had that break, I think everyone realized all the good parts of school, and I think I just would have really appreciated the last month of senior year so much more than I would have if life had gone on normally.
The one word I would use is kind of failed. I don't know, because it was just a really failed experience. My school, we failed to do a lot of the things that we had really hoped and dreamed to do, all the fun events we had scheduled, especially for the end of my senior year and just the end of the year in its totality.
What I was really looking forward to most was be able to perform in our band and choir concert for my last year. I have a soli for my piccolo that I never got to perform because of the pandemic, and it was kind of really disappointing to not be able to finish off my performance career there.
One thing that I was looking forward to particularly was graduation, just because I know that for my brother and sister it was very monumental for them. It was kind of their chance to go on to the next path and stop from this childish schooling onto their college or whatever they were going to do next. And I just feel for us it was kind of taken away because we didn't get to have the opportunity to throw the cap or say our goodbyes to our teachers or to our classmates or our peers.
For our graduation, we were actually able to walk across a makeshift stage. They had it in our gym instead of our local event center. And they had set up a makeshift stage that you were spaced apart. And they would call your name and you would walk up and you would get your diploma and take a photo, and most of the time you would either fist bump the person handing you the diploma, or you would kind of just both give a nod and then you'd walk off and go back to your seat.
I came here by accident. So, originally I was enrolled to go to Luther College in Decorah, Iowa. That was my dream school. I'd always wanted to go there. My mother is a Luther alumni, my dad's a USF alumni. I'm from Sioux Falls. I never considered going to USF. Then it was about a month before school was about to start. It's about the end of July, and Luther's plan just didn't sound like a good plan. So I decided to have a conversation with Matthew Maines, who's a professor here, and he worked at Mathnasium. That's how I know him. I used to work there. And we had a conversation about other options like community college and USF, and I decided to go to USF from our conversation.
The reason I arrived to USF is because they were basically the only school that was still reaching out to me during this pandemic, and it was at a time where I was really thinking, I don't even know if I can go to college with the way that, you know, I was quarantined, you know, and it was already too much for high school. How am I going to make it through college? And USF was still reaching out to me, and they did a lot of great educational videos on their YouTube channel, as well as a lot of great emails that refilled a lot of faith in me that they were going to take care of this right, and that's why I decided to come to the University of Sioux Falls.
I'm not a huge, big campus person. I like being able to know my teachers one-on-one and actually have like a community, which was one of the things that drew me to USF, was just their sense of community and like the bond everyone has here, which is just amazing. But it was also two of the professors. So I have a theater scholarship and a choir scholarship, and I got to meet with Professor Joe Obermueller for theater and Professor DK for choir, and just as soon as those auditions were done, I told my dad, I was like, I'm heading to USF. I don't think I want to go see any other schools. Like, I was that certain after those auditions and meeting everyone here.
I arrived at USF because of my dad. He does security here, and I just like the school. I think it's kind of interesting. I really like God, and I thought that it was a good place for me to go.
I arrived at USF by the simple decision of waking up one morning and deciding, hey, yeah, I'm going to go there. But it had a lot of things going for it, that it was not too far from home, an hour is far enough, and it had a very good package, financial aid package, so that I was able to come affordably. And I just love the community aspect and that the small campus, because it's very easy for me to get lost.
My USF hybrid orientation actually went very well, which is something I also wasn't anticipating when coming into college during the pandemic. I thought it was going to be a fiasco, really, where I wasn't sure if I was hearing the right things from the right people, or just really overall just very confused on how to do it. But my college did a really great job of navigating that.
So the whole different online, on-ground stuff was kind of hard for me at first, especially with some of the hybrid classes. It's like, okay, so first day, are we meeting in person in our classroom? Is it gonna be online? I haven't gotten a Zoom link yet. Like, what's the plan?
A lot of my friends actually came from starting in a social media kind of format and then growing in our relationship as we met in person, especially coming here. Then we got the better opportunity to meet. But in other ways, just I've joined so many clubs. I'm in one every single day, and it can be a lot sometimes, but it's kind of worth it, being able to just meet new people always, and always having a new friend every day.
This year has just been a lot more boring than I ever thought my freshman year of college would be. There's not a lot going on, and I come to everything that's going on. And I try my best to like get out there and meet people, but it's really hard making new friends with Corona.
I feel like I've developed relationships during this time in a kind of a different way, but almost an interesting way, just because a lot of the times you're wearing a mask, so it's almost like a kind of party game kind of thing, whether you know what the person's gonna look like, whether you don't, but at that same time you just kind of have a conversation with somebody and kind of learn their story. So I think that it's still been really cool opportunities to meet new people.
A piece of advice I offer for any other class and for my class is to stay hopeful and to believe that there is something greater, like God leading us and has a better plan for us. And don't be afraid to meet new people. If you're afraid of the coronavirus, there's always Zoom, but always reach out and try to make new friends, because it can be really lonely during these times.
My number one advice would probably be to try your best to be positive in this awkward situation, because I definitely know from my experience of having those 3 months alone by myself that it's a struggle to be positive, but it's something that you need to do in order to get yourself through the year and, you know, be the class of 2024, of course.
Some advice for the class of 2024 is don't focus on the negative. I know that there's a lot of negative stuff circulating around COVID, but you need to think on the positives of how far you've come, making it to college, beginning your freshman year, beginning that new part of your life, and focus on the good that you can do for yourself and for others.
One advice that I would offer my class of 2024 would just be to try your hardest. That's the only thing we really can do. Even if you're not understanding something or you're like having troubles in a class, as long as you're working your hardest to like develop your ideas or learn the content, there's nothing more you can do, so you're doing great.